Okay, so welcome to this last day of CS3 and the Science Mesh workshop session. So we have roughly half a day this morning to discuss on the idea of Science Mesh, and the logo you have on this screen, on this front page here, which is a federated sync and share service delivered by the CS3 Mesh for EOSC project. And the logo of the project you have on the other side, which is funded by the European Union's Horizon 2020 program. And the idea for this workshop here is really to make it a kind of very interactive event on Zoom. We have prepared several presentations and some demos and some videos, but the timetable is pretty flexible. So essentially, we would really like to get the most out of it for you, for the audience. That includes people actively working on the project and also people who are maybe interested in joining or participating in this project in the future as well. So, few words about the objectives. So I think for people who do not know what this is about, actually this is an opportunity to learn a little bit more. You know, there's a Science Mesh, there's CS3 Mesh for EOSC. The naming is not so great. Maybe sometimes it's confused. So it's also an opportunity for people to get to know a little bit better. And also, we would like to keep this session, you know, quite practical. So we would like to show some practical steps, how to get involved, and also getting the feedback from people, what they think. And it's really an opportunity also to for everybody to provide input and help actually shaping the future of this future service that is actually being created this time. So bear in mind that a lot of things that we are discussing here and presenting, this is work in progress because the project is in the early stage. But we believe we already have a solid foundation that we can build upon. So this is actually a perfect timing to get involved. And also bear in mind that different areas are in different phases of development. So some of the things you will see are already more evolved, and some of the things are a bit more experimental or are still in the conceptual design phase or brainstorming phase. So keep that in mind. So for the big lines, we had yesterday a very, very nice discussion at the OCM workshop session in the afternoon regarding general community and governance in the future. There was a very nice discussion, an interesting one. So I encourage you to, if you didn't participate in that one, recordings will be made available soon. I think one of the things we said at that discussion was that this is your, or actually our, opportunity together to aggregate and present the CS3 service collectively with the full strength of the service providers, developers, and users that make up this community, and make it a recognized, consolidated effort, visible and important for the future European strategy, and in particular EOSC. So if you're looking for developing a long-term strategy for your service or your institution, maybe even, this may be a place to discuss as well. Then the structure of the workshop. So as I said, we want to keep it as, let's say, down to earth and as practical as possible. So if you operate a sync and share service or a research service and you want to improve it, and so if you look from the point of view of an administrator of such a service, there is material for you as well. If you develop an application or a service or a platform and want to get it exposed to a wider audience, and maybe also in other institutions, We hope this, what we'll present here, will also illustrate how this can be done. Or if you are a user or work with users and you want to improve their daily workflows and get their feedback across to shape some of the activities of this project or some of the activities that we have in the wider community, this is also an opportunity. So as I said, agenda is quite flexible. We understand people are pretty tired already after 3 days. So we will make it as long, as useful, and as short as necessary. Yeah, so there will be first introduction from Pedro to give you a big bird's eye overview of the project and of Science Mesh essentially. Then more the perspective of service manager, site administrator, operations from Ron and his team in his work package. Actually, how to join the Science Mesh. So what could be the practical steps we can do already now, and then the perspective from for the users, applications and use cases from Maciej, from his work package, and actually a perspective from the developer, if you want to contribute to some development, from Hugo. We don't want to, present all this as in a kind of structure, work packages and all that. We'd rather try to really look from the perspective of what could be the most relevant and interesting for audience in their different roles. And then we'll have some QA and discussion. So for the technicalities, I think it would be nice for this workshop, maybe contrary to what we have recommended for the CS3 main sessions, to have the camera on all the time, if you like, of course. I think it encourages more interactivity during the presentations and encourages questions, and we can see people. Also, do not hesitate to ask questions or provide instant feedback. Perhaps to ask the questions, or if you'd like to intervene, use the raise hand button in Zoom. This makes it easier. And okay, keep in mind that the event is recorded. So with that, that's all I have. And does anybody have any instant feedback or questions or proposals? Okay, if not, it means we are good to start with the real stuff. So Pedro, you can take over from me.
Okay, thank you very much.